the study of polar and alpine climates, glaciers, mountains, water supplies. Sounds like a job for scientists located near the poles. But as we've learned earlier in our show, an internationally recognized leader in this field is located in Columbus, Ohio. Water, the single most important substance in the world, vital to all forms of life. 77% of Earth's fresh water is frozen. Glaciers blanket mountain ranges around the globe, and their runoff provides water that many people depend on for survival.
What the glaciers do is they store up water during the distinct wet season and release it slowly during the dry season.
Yet scientists say the world's glaciers are disappearing faster than expected.
What we're looking at now is how people are able to adapt or not to these changes and how fast they're occurring.
The Ohio State University's Byrd Polar Research Center is at the forefront of polar and alpine studies, seeking ways to preserve what glaciers provide to so many.
My interest area is in the Andes of Peru, where we have tropical glaciers, and these glaciers are a really important source of water for people.
Download 24 hours worth.
Brian organizes teams of scientists and students who travel to Peru every year.
I'm a South American citizen, and the whole country is related to glacier waters to some extent. The study of glaciers is a very key thing for the whole Andean countries in South America.
Team members aren't just a bunch of folks in lab coats, but also athletes who must be able to hike, climb, and camp in all kinds of weather.
What have you learned so far?
It's hard to breathe at elevation.
Brian and his team construct weather stations that monitor conditions year to year and employ instruments placed in streams to measure and record the weight of the water flowing past them.
Checking out the water level, discharging through the flume.
The measuring stick is our fundamental source of measurement. So we go back, get in the water, and measure its velocity.
The data from these instruments allow scientists to determine the source of the water, whether it be precipitation, that is rain and snowfall, groundwater, or of course, glacier melting.
That's one thing we're trying to do, so quantifying the actual volume of ice recession. And then we're interested in just how much water is actually provided by that loss of ice that's not replaced in the annual cycle.
60% of the population of Peru lives along the Pacific coast, much of which is desert, forcing them to depend at least in part on stream water flowing from the glacier-covered mountains. The water may be used for everything from drinking and bathing to energy production and farming.
You're probably eating asparagus right now that comes from Peru. Peru's the #1 exporter of asparagus. Asparagus is grown in irrigated farms along that coastal desert. Here we have a water situation that's getting more and more stressful as there's a reduction in supply but an increase in demand, and we are taking advantage of that through cheap vegetables in your supermarket.
One of the things that Brian has done that not only do I just admire, but I think it is the way science needs to go at this juncture. That is, he's working in an area where the physical science and the social sciences merge.
Having clean, available water is just critical. So when we think and see this instance of a local change and a local impact of a global phenomena, we're actually all part of this.